Hey, good morning, everyone. John Henry Soto here. Today, we're going to be talking about who are your closest five friends. What the hell does that mean? Stay tuned. Stay tuned. My little opening didn't start there when it was supposed to start. I was like, stay tuned. Stay tuned. Anyway, we are here. Good morning, everyone. It is 7 a.m. Monday morning. Today is March 22nd, 2021. And it is my anniversary. Today, 18 years ago, I became the husband of Pamela, uh, Pamela Plossel at the time, and she became my wife 18 years ago today. So it's my anniversary. So I think a lot of the topics that I actually talk about uh, I've learned 99% of them being married. When you get into that dynamic, I think you start evaluating things or looking at life a little bit differently. It's not now you're not about it's not about you. And then when you add kids to the mix, then it's really not about you, right? Um, but I have learned a lot in the last 18 years, 20 years together, 18 years of marriage. And you learn a lot in 18 years. We're almost didn't make it there early on. First 7, 8, 9 years were tough trying to adjust. Um, and I think really things started, and I think my wife will attest to this. Things just started getting smoother um, about 3 to 4 years ago. I know in 2013 I made a life changing decision, which at the time I didn't realize it was going to be so life changing. But this was in 2013. Um, and I made the decision to disconnect from certain individuals that just didn't make me feel good. And it may sound like a little childish kind of thing. I don't feel good around these people, but it was legitimate. I really did not, I felt invalidated. I felt that my communication was always not important. And it was I married into that situation. It wasn't something that I was used to. I wasn't raised being invalidated. As a matter of fact, it was the opposite. My mother would encourage me to be and do whatever I wanted to do. And if I told my mother that I wanted to be a basketball player for the NBA, she would just smile and be like, you know what, you can do it. Work hard, and you can get in there, even though you're barely 5 feet. You can try to find it. Try to find the answers. I think you're just keep searching and keep working hard. But so I wasn't really raised with that type of attitude. So I decided to just remove a couple of people from my life. And I tell you that within the 2 weeks right afterwards, a positive thing happened every single day for 2 weeks straight, every single day, where I was like, holy cow. I was like, this is like the most unbelievable. I was scared. I was like, what's happening? And I started really finding my voice again. I started finding my purpose as an artist. When I grew up, my whole purpose was to create. And that's really what today's talk is about. Is about those five people, and it could be more, it could be less, that are around you consistently. The people that you hang out with, the people that if you're having a party, they will definitely be there because they have to be there. Those folks. And how does your purpose align with those friends? You know, is there invalidation? You know, is there constant discussions on whether or not you should be doing something. People telling you what you should be doing, right? Um, and how do you feel when you're around these people? And sometimes, I think what happens is also, which is what happened to me, you just become numb to that situation. You don't see it as a negative situation anymore. You don't see, and I mean, as an example, what my situation when I was involved in constantly having to go to, you know, family events and stuff with my wife, where I just felt that they were looking down on me, and maybe it was just my own insecurities at the time, but there was also comments made, which is not my insecurity. It was just my ears listening to people saying things that just didn't make me feel good, and I remember thinking how I hated going to these things, and how I didn't appreciate being forced because I was part of this marriage. I married my wife. That's the only person I married, right? So that's the only person I was really concerned with trying to make happy. But we come with baggage whenever we're in a relationship. And when you have a group of people together, 5 individuals, 6 individuals, 10 close friends that grew up together, those personalities develop, right? And, when you start getting to the age of 20, 30, 40s, you start trying to figure out, okay, well, I went the wrong direction. My purpose changed. Um, I had a different viewpoint on things. My approach got weaker or stronger. Um, I got into a relationship that shifted my direction, and sort of become blind to that, or you don't feel it, or you don't think there's anything wrong, or you haven't sat down and really audited the people that are around you to see if you align with your purposes, right? Not to say that you have to disconnect from friends that don't have the same purpose that you have, but if you're, what do you do on the weekends? Like I know my wife and I, we worked pretty much this weekend, except yesterday. Um, on Saturday, we had friends over and we had a nice lunch, and I ate some Spanish food, and it did not agree with me. But it was really a wonderful a time. But we worked a lot this weekend. We did do a lot of things. Yesterday, I kind of recovered, but while I was recovering, I was doing a lot other things and working and doing some research and working on my film that I'm releasing soon, hopefully. No, it will be soon, definitely. But what friends are going to align with that? That's the whole goal. There's some people that really just enjoy their free time, and they enjoy their hanging out and watching TV on the couch and not really moving for the weekend, um, and it's just not where we are, or my wife, we don't even think about it as work. We think about it as our working on the purpose, and living our lives the way we want to live our lives, because we want something better for the future. So we have certain goals and purposes that we are working towards. And if that gets a little bit shifted because someone is, come on, come, hang out with us. Every weekend there's something going on. And I talk to young people about this, and I've spoken about this on this show, where if you're in New York City, if you're not originally from New York City, but you moved there because you want to become an actor or a filmmaker or a writer or dancer, whatever, there's a tremendous amount of distractions in New York City, a tremendous amount. Not to mention the people that you meet that are constantly having parties, because it's always somebody's birthday, right? Every weekend it's somebody's birthday party that you have to go to. There has to be some gathering of some type, and that is a trap. I am telling you that is a trap. So by the 5 people you hang out with, they might be great people, but make sure that you are aligned to your purpose. And if it's a weekend, you could say, listen, I can't go this weekend because I have to work. I have to work. Nobody has to know what kind of work. You might be just wanting to sit at home and write, write a screenplay, or write or work on your monologues if you're an actor, or go to the dance studio and do some and dance or work out, or whatever it is that you're interested in. And there's the pressure of being involved, being in, right? The FOMO thing, right? Feel like you're missing out, whatever. FOMO, feeling, I forgot what the acronym, right? But it's called FOMO, right? Like it's like feeling you're missing out or something like that. So I don't know what the O stands for, FOMO. So if you're constantly thinking that you're missing out on something and you don't want to be, I want to be there because last time they had such a great time and everybody told me the wonderful stories, and I was like, oh man, I wish I was there, but you know, what is it that you really want? Is it just those types of experiences? Then that's fine. If that's what makes you happy. But are you s- sticking to the purpose? Are you committing to your goals, and are you working towards them every day? Right. And I heard something with John Mayer a couple of days ago where he was talking about, if you have 7 days, right, in a week. And if you work really, really hard those 5 days, 5 days in a row, you're really working towards it. And then you have 2 days where you kind of fall back. Like he gave an example of a diet. So like if you're on a diet and you do well for 5 days, and in 2 days you break your diet and you eat poorly, and you're like, well, I didn't do that, but you're forgetting the 5 days that you were actually on point. You're having these 2 days ruin those 5 days. So if you say, okay, Monday morning I'm going to start again, and you have another 5 days, you know, and maybe you have another day that you go back, but you continue to always constantly move forward on the goal and on the purpose, right? And he mentioned the jellyfish, right? A jellyfish kind of goes like this, right? Maybe this way is better. So if you go like this, right? Or no, that's how it is. That's how it is. You go like this, right? Jellyfish is always swimming forward, but it's always going back a little bit to gather the strength to move itself forward again, right? To gather the strength to move it. So it has to go back to kind of propel itself forward, right? But it's always moving forward, regardless of how it's moving back a little bit. And that's what we should be thinking about. So if you have those days where things are not going well, or you fell behind on something, or you had a really lazy weekend and you didn't do the things that you had planned on. You had a book and you had all your goals written out for the weekend, and then Saturday morning comes in and you're like, I'm tired, I'm gonna sleep in a little bit, and then something's on TV, and then somebody called you, hey, you want to go out for brunch, or you want to go out, yeah, I want to do that. And then you mope around the house, maybe you do a little cleaning here and there, and you don't have the productive weekend that you had anticipated or that you planned for yourself. Well, on Monday morning, don't think that the goal is over. The goal is still there. You just had a little fallback. Now, who are the people that are encouraging you to keep working towards it? That's a really big important element. Is somebody calling you up and being like, hey, what are you doing this weekend? Oh, I'm gonna be doing this and this and this. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. Do that. Work. Let's talk on Sunday night. Maybe we can do something during the week. Maybe we can meet for coffee. Maybe next weekend we can have a day and we can have a brunch, and then you can go back to work or whatever it is. But somebody that's there encouraging you, knowing what you want to do in your life, knowing what your purpose is, and knowing that there are days that you're going to have off days, right? And also they're going to want somebody to encourage them. Who are you encouraging? You know, are you one of the five people around someone that's holding them back, right? Because we always talk about the five people around us. Well, who are you around that you're constantly, are you helping those around you achieve their goals, or at least encouraging them to keep moving forward and to keep, fighting for those purposes? That is a tremendous value when you have a friend that can call you up and say, what are you doing? What are you working on? talk to me. That's fantastic. That's awesome. Keep doing that. I have she's sort of like my mom. When my mom passed away in 2009, her name is Joe Gans, and she lives down in Florida. She kind of we became friends through the church, and she kind of took over a little bit. Obviously, not she's not my mother, but as far as somebody who listened and who validated what I was doing and who really pushed me in the direction of the goals that I had. And even helped me with my marriage at the time because it was not going, wasn't strong. We weren't on the same page, and gave and helped me tremendously. And but she was one of these people that would call me up just to get an update. What are you doing? Oh, I'm working on this. Oh, that's fantastic. I love that. That's so. And when you hear that, when you're not really so used to it because maybe you don't, I don't have a tremendous amount of friends, not to little violin. I'm sorry, Johnny. You got no friends. I have tremendous friends. I have amazing friends, but they're all working on things that they want to do, and that's totally fine. um, but encouraging friends that will call you just to find out. Joe is definitely one of those. She's an incredible woman, and her husband is also like amazing. But she would call me up and she would send me a text. Hey, I want an update. What's happening? And I get excited because I know that I'm gonna talk to somebody that's going to, one, they're gonna listen. Two, they're gonna, if I'm stuck on something, they're going to advise me. They're going to encourage what I am working on, and what I've accomplished they're going to praise. And is that something that we all need? Sure. But at the same time, if I'm doing something that I'm uncomfortable, that maybe I'm not sure about, she's going to make sure that she remembered my purpose. She knows what my purpose is. So if I say something, yeah, I'm probably just gonna give up, sell my guitars again, or get rid of them. She would rip me a new one. She'd be like, "Are you crazy? Don't you dare sell any of your equipment. You're an artist. You're a musician. You're a filmmaker. Whatever it is that we're talking about, whatever it is that I'm having doubts about." She will encourage me to not give up and keep moving forward. And that the value that you have on a friend like that is, there is no price you can put on that. That is the most valuable thing you can have, is to have a friend that supports you unconditionally, um, and makes sure that you're on your path that you've been talking about, right? Because sometimes, you can say, I changed my mind. That's fine. Everybody, that's one of our most valuable assets that people don't use, right? It's the idea that you can change your mind. People say, well, you're flaking. No, I'm not flaking. I changed my mind. I went in a direction. I evaluated it. I did not like it. I moved in the other direction. So if you have friends that are saying, well, you keep changing your mind, well, then those friends don't understand what the value of changing your mind and shifting your viewpoint based on what you've actually experienced, right? You went into a direction and you experienced something that didn't really sit well and didn't work for you. You say, you know what, that didn't work. I thought it was going to work, but it didn't work. I'm looking at the numbers right now, or I'm looking at my feelings right now. I'm looking at the people around me. That's not working. I'm not going in that direction. I'm changing my mind. I'm going in this direction, and it's totally fine. That's totally fine. But make sure that you're doing it because you want to continue on your purpose, and that's not your purpose. It's shifting you, or it's giving you extra baggage that you didn't really anticipate, and that you really don't want to have to carry around towards your goal, because it shouldn't be that hard, right? So you can change your mind on certain things, but to have a person in your environment, especially those five people that I keep talking about. And this is the thing, you're the average of the five people that you're around, right? That's what the thing say. I think John Rohn is quoted on saying that, right? He has a whole thing on that. And audit the five people that you're around, or the people that you're around the most. It could be family members, it could be a spouse, it can be a sibling, right? It could be an uncle, it could be an aunt, it could be an in-law, right? Anybody that you're constantly around. What is that energy like? you know How do you feel? Do you feel like you can communicate anything, or do you feel you have to withhold what you really want to do because you know you're going to get some crap from some people around you? That's a very bad environment to be in. You have to decide, and you have to make some. Sometimes you have to make some drastic decisions. You might have to disconnect from people, and not disconnect like saying, "I'll never talk to you again," but start cutting time that you spend with certain people, which is what I did. 2013, I decided I wasn't going to go anymore to places that made me feel uncomfortable because they didn't they didn't communicate to me. They didn't talk to me. I was ignored. What I was working on was not really important because it didn't generate the kind of income that's generated. Although I'm generating income now, and it's going to be uh, talk about it's going to 100x in the next very very soon. It's still it doesn't matter to me now because at the time is when I needed the acknowledgement, or at least what I was putting out, which was constant acknowledging and trying to talk to people and whatever. I didn't feel good, so in 2013 I decided to cut it, just cut how much time I spent with those people, and my life got better. I felt better. I surrounded myself with people that actually were kinder, gentler, more honest communication, not fake communication, just to make things look like we're like things are normal, like it's a normal thing to behave that way. And things just got better. One thing that my brother, my sisters, and my family always did, we weren't, you know, we fought like everybody else fought, but we always encouraged each other. I can't remember ever anyone telling me I couldn't do something or whatever, even if they thought it, even if they thought that I was crazy getting into acting or whatever, they never they never said anything, you know. It was just full encouragement. So I was very lucky. I was encouraged tremendously. Now, growing up, I had my mom who was very supportive. My grandma was a little bit more on the rough side. She wanted certain things from me, but she would never tell me not to do something, or that I shouldn't do something, or that I was wasting my time. Um, or she asked me, how much money is that making? That kind of a nonsense. It was never about that. So I was able to get that as a child, and it wasn't really until I got married that I realized, oh, this not everyone is like this. Not everyone is as supportive, right? And again, it's nothing against anyone. It's just the fact that we're not aligned. And when you're not aligned with a group of people that you're constantly around, it will actually shift your alignment, and it'll actually make it harder for you. So you're climbing a mountain of molasses, and it's going to be hard for you to get up there. It's much easier when you actually say, you know what, and you can make an announcement. Say, listen, I've decided that I'm going to take the next 2 years. I'm going to work on this on weekends. I'm not really going to go out much. It's nothing personal. Maybe once a month I can meet with everybody, but I'm really focused on something right now, and I'm just going to try it. So I'm just going to not go to these things every single weekend or be expected to go to all these events or whatever. And that could be the communication that you give. And you say, I have a purpose. I'm trying to work on something. I'm writing on a book. I'm writing a book. I'm working on a screenplay. I want to get better at something, and make it part of your life, and make that decision and put it out there. And whoever has whatever their viewpoint, it doesn't matter. Who cares? I mean, at the end of the day, you have to wake up and you have to go to sleep with yourself, right? You're the only person that's there when you fall asleep. You're the only person that's there when you wake up, right? In yourself, I'm saying, right? You may have somebody next to you, but that person next to you is the first thing. Are they complaining constantly around you? Are they trying to push you in a direction that you don't want to go? Well, there's your first kind of problem. You could say, honey, I'm going to spend about a year working on this. So I'm not going to take you to this trip anymore. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. Is that okay with you? It's not okay. Then we have to have a serious conversation about something. And that can be scary. And that can be something that is the toughest decision for some people to make. To move away from people that make you feel bad and invalidate you and are not on the same path of success can be a very scary thing to decide to make that move. But it can be done, And you owe it to yourself, you owe it to your family, you owe it to your friends that are supportive, to go out and be the best person that you can be, because that is what was in your universe to begin with. That was what you were thinking with. That was the direction you were on. So you owe it to yourself to stay on path and stay on course and continue to work towards that, no matter what comes in your way, because you deserve it. We all deserve it. We all deserve success, and you certainly do deserve success. So when you feel bad because of someone's communication, really pay attention to what just happened, and decide, I'm not going to let that happen again. And I'm going to communicate and say, listen, I didn't like that, you know, because I'm trying to go in this direction. You want to bring me there. And I just really don't want to do that. I love you. I care about you, but I don't want that in my life right now. I'm sorry. And then the ball's in their court. Let's see if they say, you know what, you're right. You've always been talking about this. Go for it. Or they say, oh man, you don't want to hang out. What's wrong? That's not right. Who are you hanging out with? Audit those people, and you'd be surprised at how wonderful your life can be and how wonderful your experiences can be. All right, folks. Thank you very much for listening. I appreciate all of you. I love you all. Um, Take care of yourselves. Have a wonderful week ahead. I will see you all tomorrow morning. Please don't forget to email me at johnhenrysoto@protonmail.com with any suggestions. If you're interested in some of the booklets that I talk about, the Way to Happiness booklet, or I talk about this one too, The Truth About Drugs, from the drugfreeworld.org. Just send me a message there with what you're looking for at johnhenrysoto@protonmail.com, and I'll be more than happy to send that out to you. Thank you all. God bless you. Take care of yourselves. Make today great. Do the things that you love and take care of yourselves. And I will see you all tomorrow. And as always, peace.